If you think creatine is just for 20-something gym enthusiasts trying to build muscle, you're missing one of the most interesting developments in brain health research. Your brain may actually benefit from creatine supplementation in ways that become increasingly important after age 40. While everyone focuses on muscle performance, with that standard 5-gram dose, emerging science reveals something compelling. Your aging brain faces an energy crisis that most people never see coming. Think of your brain like a high-performance engine that starts to show its age. The fuel system that worked effortlessly in your 20s begins showing strain in ways that feel subtle at first. You're sharp in the morning but fade by afternoon. You handle one demanding project fine but add a second and your thinking gets cloudy. This represents your brain running low on energy resources. I'm Dr. Adrian Laurence, accredited lifestyle medicine and family doctor for 17 years. Today, I'll show you how creatine acts as a cognitive buffer against the metabolic stress of modern life and why the research on brain benefits tells such a fascinating story. Your brain is the most energy-hungry organ in your body, despite weighing only about 2% of your total body weight, or roughly 1.4 kilograms or 3 pounds. It consumes roughly 20% of all the calories you eat every single day. This massive energy demand means your brain operates on remarkably thin margins. Every thought, every decision, every moment of focus requires ATP, the cellular energy currency that powers everything in your body. When ATP runs low, cognitive function drops fast. Creatine becomes crucial here because it functions as a backup battery system for your cells. When your brain needs energy quickly, creatine phosphate can rapidly regenerate ATP, giving your neurons an immediate energy boost when they need it. The creatine phosphocreatine shuttle system is one of the fastest ways to restore ATP levels in metabolically active tissues. Here's the key insight from the research. Creatine's cognitive benefits emerge specifically under conditions of metabolic stress, sleep deprivation, work pressure, emotional stress, physical illness. These are the moments when your brain's energy systems get overwhelmed and creatine steps in as a buffer. Studies have demonstrated this pattern repeatedly. A 2007 study published in Psychopharmacology examined what happens when people take creatine and then get sleep deprived. The researchers found that creatine supplementation helped maintain cognitive performance much closer to baseline levels during sleep deprivation, reducing the typical deficits we see from poor sleep. The same pattern shows up with psychological stress. Give someone a challenging cognitive task while they're under pressure, and creatine supplementation seems to help maintain performance that would otherwise decline. This becomes increasingly important as we age because our brains become more vulnerable to energy deficits over time. The mitochondria in our brain cells, the powerhouses that produce ATP, become less efficient. The transport systems that deliver energy substrates to neurons slow down. The repair mechanisms that fix cellular damage from energy stress become less responsive. Meanwhile, life doesn't get less demanding. The cognitive load often increases. You're managing more responsibilities, dealing with more complex decisions while getting less quality sleep and facing more chronic stress than you did in your 20s. Chronic stress and poor sleep create a perfect storm for cognitive energy depletion. Stress hormones like cortisol increase your brain's energy demands, while simultaneously interfering with efficient energy production. The research consistently shows that creatine's cognitive benefits are most pronounced in people dealing with real-world metabolic challenges. A 2018 meta-analysis in experimental gerontology found that older adults show greater improvements than younger ones. People under chronic stress respond better than those living relatively low-demand lives. Vegetarians who get virtually no dietary creatine often see the most dramatic cognitive improvements. A 2003 study in the Proceedings of the Royal Society found that vegetarian participants showed significant improvements in memory and intelligence test scores after 6 weeks of supplementation. If you're finding this helpful, I simplify health optimization in a free newsletter for people who want to feel better and live longer. Link in the description. Now let's talk about practical dosing. The standard recommendation you'll find everywhere is 5 grams daily, and this dose is pretty well supported by research for both muscle and cognitive benefits. This is the dose used in the majority of cognitive studies, and it's been shown to increase both muscle and brain creatine levels when measured with magnetic resonance spectroscopy. However, there's an interesting consideration for brain optimization. Your muscles have a higher concentration of creatine and take up supplemental creatine readily. But the brain presents an additional challenge because creatine must cross the blood-brain barrier. And this transport system has limited capacity. If you're physically active and do regular resistance training or high-intensity exercise, your muscles become even more effective at grabbing available creatine. For most people starting out, 5 grams of daily creatine hydrate is the evidence-based recommendation. This dose has demonstrated cognitive benefits, particularly under conditions of metabolic stress, sleep deprivation, and in populations with lower baseline creatine stores. Some people may choose to experiment with higher doses, particularly if they're very physically active. But this represents personal optimization beyond what the research definitively supports. Split your daily dose if you prefer. Some people take it all at once in the morning, others divide it. Creatine is tasteless and dissolves easily in water, tea, or your beverage of choice. You don't need to cycle on and off creatine, and you don't need the old school loading phases where people took 20 to 30 grams daily for a week. Just maintain your chosen dose consistently. When shopping for creatine, stick with creatine monohydrate. This is the form used in virtually all the research. It's the most cost-effective, and it's been proven safe in many studies lasting years. Look for NSF Certified for Sport certification on the label. This ensures third-party testing for purity and eliminates concerns about contamination that has been found in some cheaper products. Now let's talk a bit about kidney concerns. Multiple long-term studies in healthy adults show no adverse effects on kidney function from creatine supplementation. Confusion comes sometimes from the fact that creatine supplementation increases creatinine levels in blood tests, which some doctors might mistakenly interpret as kidney problems. Creatinine is simply a breakdown product of creatine. High creatine intake naturally leads to higher creatinine levels without indicating kidney damage. The effects aren't immediately like caffeine. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks of consistent supplementation to meaningfully increase your tissue creatine stores. Once you reach that point, you'll likely notice improved mental stamina, better focus during stressful periods, and less afternoon cognitive fatigue. And who benefits most? Well, high-stress professionals managing complex decisions under pressure can benefit a lot. Parents juggling multiple responsibilities while operating on limited sleep. Anyone whose cognitive demands regularly exceed their energy reserves. Think of creatine as insurance for your brain's energy system. In our metabolically demanding world, that insurance pays dividends when you need it most. Creatine can provide brain insurance against the cognitive demands of modern life. You could try starting with a quality creatine monohydrate at 5 grams daily, track how your energy and focus change over the next month, and adjust based on your individual response. Of course, none of this is individual medical advice and all for educational purposes. Always check with your health professional. If this video has been helpful, try this one next to learn more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.